Sunday, the 13th of June 2021 update. Starts with BG telling Ranbir that Maya cannot be their Bahu. Pallavi says we won't allow this marriage manifest. Vikram says this marriage will happen. He says that man could be very effective politician and in case you do not do marriage with his daughter then he will do as he stated. Ranbir says I won't permit something take place to you all. Vikram asks him to worry about himself and tells which you doesn't recognize the politician's strength and have an impact on. Pallavi asks what do you suggest that we will let Maya marry him. Abhi says he will take Ranbir out of this Maya trap. He tells that he's going to use more large have an impact on and take him out of the baby kisser lure. He takes report from Prachi and asks Ranbir to drop her. Riya says what I had thought and what is happening. Abhi tells Riya that not anything will appear to Ranbir and says he would not love Maya. Riya says he cannot love Maya. Abhi asks her not to worry. Ranbir is using the auto and recalls Mr. Chaube's threat. Prachi also thinks of the danger and gets tensed. Later at the dining desk, Mira asks BG what Pallavi is pronouncing that Ranbir's marriage is fixed. BG says Maya isn't always appropriate for Ranbir. Vikram says all of us understand the motive why this marriage cannot show up. Abhi tells that he will talk to the more huge baby kisser and may destroy the wedding forcibly showing the double power. Vikram says he knows more huge flesh presser. Abhi says Chaube became politician in Siddharth Sharma's guidance. Mira asks about his meeting with Alka Yagnik. He says he's going to and then he has to go to Canada. He says first we have to reflect on consideration on Ranbir. Pallavi says Riya came, however went being concerned. Abhi thinks Riya loves Ranbir. Riya tells Alia approximately Ranbir's marriage with Maya fixed. Alia asks her to relax and loosen up and tells that Maya knows approximately your feelings for Ranbir. She asks her to meet Maya and asks her to refuse for marriage. She then asks her to meet Pallavi and assures that the whole lot will be pleasant. She says she likes you. Riya gets happy. Mr. Chaube asks the safety guy to hold eye on Ranbir. He asks Maya if she is glad. Maya says she is happy. Her mother tells that it is good that her marriage with Mohit is cancelled and tells that Ranbir is far extra handsome than Mohit. She says while you take him to the election campaign, humans will ask who's this hero and will deliver extra votes. Maya smiles hesitantly. Ranbir stops his automobile close to Prachi's house. Prachi says sorry and says I could not do whatever for you. She says I failed you. Ranbir says it isn't your fault, it smiles like someone doesn't need to look me happy. He says Maya would not want to marry me, but she is silent due to her papa and hates me. He says I desire that she tells it domestic that she hates me and don't need to marry me. Prachi tells him that she is with him and turns into a ship and defend him. She says will never can help you fall. Ranbir thanks her. She asks him to take care and receives down from the car. She walks away. Ranbir thinks do not know who is the lady in the back of me, due to her I couldn't confess my feelings to Prachi. He says whenever I come to understand about her, that day may be the worst day of her lifestyles. Riya calls Maya, but the latter would not see her call and is misplaced in mind. Maya thinks to tell dad that she do not want to marry Ranbir. Her mum hears her and tells that her dad has agreed for this marriage. She says his popularity shall no longer be stained, and he reached till this position with plenty trouble and asks her to bear in mind what took place to her bua. She says she turned into pricey in your dad, however now no one knows approximately her. She asks her to convince Ranbir to marry her on the earliest. Prachi comes domestic and is disappointed. Sarita Bayan and Shahana ask what happened. Prachi tells that Maya's own family have fixed Ranbir's marriage with Maya. She tells that Mara sir has stated that he'll make everything quality, but I don't assume this is possible. She tells that her coronary heart is shakening and he or she could not stand. She is going. Sarita Bayan tells Shahana that Prachi is in love and very a great deal concerned for Ranbir. She thinks Riya is the vamp among Ranbir and Prachi. Riya tells Alia that Maya is not selecting the call. She asks did you understand that Maya is a baby kisser's daughter? Alia says she did not understand and could not understand why MLA's daughter agreed to do their work, as they're very picture conscious. Riya says maybe she failed to think that the problem becomes worse. Alia asks her to meet Maya and threatens her now not to marry Ranbir else she needs all her money returned. Alia thinks the problem is small, however Riya is concerned. BG and Pallavi are concerned for Ranbir. Riya comes there and tells that she can now not allow anything show up to Ranbir. Ranbir comes domestic. BG is going to Ranbir and hugs him. Pallavi asks Riya if she loves Ranbir. Riya smiles. Pallavi says understood. Riya appears at Ranbir and is going. Pallavi tells that Riya informed that she can take you out from this hassle. Ranbir says Riya is behaving unusually, she cannot help herself, how she will assist me. She says Chief will assist me. Pragya asks Prachi what took place. Prachi says she is thinking about Ranbir. And tells that he's caught in any other hassle. Shahana says even I am concerned. Prachi says I wanted to find out who's making Maya do all this, and tells that the character could be very cheap and desires to wreck Ranbir's lifestyles. She tells that if Ranbir marries Maya then all his life may be ruined. She says people will think that the case is actual. Prachi telling Pragya and Sarita Bayan that she couldn't sit down all night and changed into thinking his lifestyles will be ruined if he pressured to marry Maya. She asks Pragya to say something. Sarita Bayan says not anything will happen to Ranbir as leader is with him. She tells that Ranbir shall go to Maya and tells her that he's happy to marry her. He shall act to be emotional and tells that you accused me of molestation. But he thinks it is their destiny that they were given together and he fell in love together with her. She says Maya may tell getting emotional about the character's call who requested her to lure him. Prachi says it is a great idea. Pragya asks Sarita Bayan if she watched this in film. Sarita Bayan asks Prachi to file their video. She goes to college and thanks Sarita Bayan. Sarita Bayan tells Pragya that Prachi is in love with Prachi. Ranbir involves the college. His friends ask why he's marrying Maya. Ranbir tells that Maya is a fraud and trapped him, however he's going to no longer marry her. Prachi takes him away from there and tells that she has a plan. She asks him to go to Maya and say something. Riya calls Maya and thinks if she is warding off me. Maya's mom picks the decision. Riya asks approximately Maya. Her mother tells that Maya went to university. Ranbir tells Prachi that he cannot try this. Prachi says you have flirt with others in many instances. He says I cannot flirt with Maya. Prachi asks him to take a protracted breath and asks him to do as she said. Ranbir says you requested me to make her trust that he's also happy like her. He says once I take her in self-belief, then I will ask her why she accused him of molestation. Instead of she shall ask him for marriage. Prachi says she would possibly inform the case as foe and might tell approximately her associate's name. She says as soon as she tells her companions call then. She says you shall take her in self-belief and tell a few mystery in order that she tells her mystery. She sees Maya coming and hides with Ranbir. She asks Ranbir to return to library with Maya and he will be equipped there with digicam to file. Ranbir comes in front of Maya and asks her to include him, says as they are getting married, consider as principal critical, Maya concurs, Ranbir brings Maya to the library. Maya says you delivered me right here to inform me which you are studious. Ranbir tells that he brought her right here so that nobody disturb us and no person could hear. He says we are by myself here. Maya asks what you are going to tell me. Ranbir says I sense the whole lot is simply destiny, so I in no way thought you hot and funky till the previous day, however today. She asks if she is looking heat Gunguni. Ranbir laughs and tells that she cracked an awesome shaggy dog story. Maya says you was speak me approximately destiny. Ranbir says I failed to such as you in view that the day gone by, however now I like you. He says that Lori night time became excellent night with you for me. Maya asks him to tell in clean phrases, Ranbir tells that he is virtually satisfied to marry her and hugs her. Prachi information in her mobile tells that did not ask you to try this. He says need to inform you something and being honest. He tells that the lady whom I desired to make jealous is Prachi, whom I love. Prachi thinks he's fooling her. Ranbir tells sorry to Maya and says he likes her now and loves her and her hairs. He says it became destiny, something is happening. He says that molestation case, you have filed case against me turned into wrong. He says human beings will think that we are together because of compromise. However that is not proper. He asks why did you try this? He asks her to tell the reality to people. Maya says that lady. Simply then college students come there. Maya realizes what she became going to tell him and tells that she desires to make an urgent phone call to her dad. Ranbir asks her to use his smartphone. Maya goes and the library door receives locked. Prachi and Ranbir discover the door locked. Riya involves university. Dimpy asks Shaina if that is reality that Ranbir is marrying Maya. Riya says who instructed you? Shaina says Roshan. Dimpy says Mayuri informed her. Riya tells that Ranbir will now not marry weird and ugly woman like Maya. She says she likes Ranbir. Dimpy says your status matches with him and you each look lovely. Riya says we shall no longer communicate about Maya and deliver her importance. She sees Maya and is going behind her. Ranbir tells Prachi that the door is locked. Prachi says you kicked it. Ranbir says it's Miles my fault. Prachi asks someone to open the door. She says what we could do and thinks to call Shahana, however her cell phone battery is long past. She asks him to call Aryan. Ranbir searches for his cell phone and realizes that his phone is within the automobile. He says college may be closed in 10 minutes, if we don't go out in 10 minutes then we will be stuck right here all night. Prachi gets tensed. Maya thinks of Ranbir's phrases that he is very happy that he's getting married to her. Riya pulls Maya to her. She asks where is your phone? Maya says she has forgotten her smartphone at domestic. Riya says how can you do mistake and tells that it is the most effective manner to contact you. She asks why you didn't pick out my name Ultimate Night. Maya tells that she didn't see her call and she changed into in trouble, and couldn't sleep. She says my existence is fully the other way up. Riya says it is out of manipulate, I understand and asks her to go and communicate to her father. She asks her to inform him that she cannot marry Ranbir as she do not love him. She says no father can get his daughter marry the fellow she don't love and says he will assist you. Maya tells that she can't tell her dad that she do not need to marry Ranbir. Riya says you can inform this. Maya says I cannot as I need to marry him. Riya is bowled over and slaps her. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this new YouTube channel. Like, comment and please share to other social medias so that people can also be updated with what will happen on the 13th of June 2021.